This is the story of a man who nearly lost everything. A man who nearly lost the rights to his beloved comics. A man who nearly lost his chance at a true and honest sweetheart. A man who nearly lost his mind battling the imposter that sought to swindle him. This is the story of Liquid Chris. What is up, gamers? It's your boy Richard, back again with another quickie reading. Today we are going over Blake, also known as Black Sonichu, also known as Blatchu. And I just thought it would be nice, since this is the end of Black History Month, to cover what the imposter thinks about black people. There's a lot of different discussions we could have on this, but I think Blake is a pretty good showing of what Ian Brandon Anderson thinks. So we start off with the idea guys were here. Chris was brainwashed. Once again, Solid Chris was brainwashed into believing that Blake became an Islamic extremist who saw Osama bin Laden as a hero. An illustration of the character in Sonichu 13 showcases him in a trench coat and fedora, with an ISIL/ISIS flag in his possession. That's an interesting direction to go. Let's go over to the quote. He was cloned from Sonichu's DNA with an accidental dose of cherry cola in Giovanni's evil lab. Blatchu can run fast. Blatchu can run fast as Sonichu, but they don't see spark to spark. And that, of course, is the Black Sonichu Animal Crossing card. I didn't know Animal Crossing had cards. Of course, Chris made this on his own in the Wall of Originals. Let's get into the quickie proper. Blake, originally called Black Sonichu and occasionally Blatchu, born the 22nd of March 1999, is a Sonichu and was once the arch nemesis of Sonichu. He is also inexplicably Bubble Rosechu's boyfriend and later husband outside the comic canon. However, for some reason, Blake and Bubbles decided to hide it from all of their friends, not knowing that their friends already knew about the relationship. He rips off 3 characters: Shadow the Hedgehog, Pikachu, and Mewtwo. Chances are he rips off a lot more than just that, because every character in Sonichu rips off at least 5 other characters, because Chris cannot be original. Over here is a little bit more information. Most of this we've already been over. Just height, 5'4", weight 120 pounds, type dark/electric. Okay, make the one Black Sonichu dark type. Thanks, Chris. Evolves from a Sony or Pikachu, except this is a clone and did not evolve. It evolves into Silver Blatchu, which is just a gray version of Blake, because Chris is original. Conception. While Chris has taken care to inform us of the precise dates in which he conceived Sonichu and Rosechu, he did not do the same for Blake. We can safely deduce that he was not conceived at a point later than the 24th of July, 2002. Since, on said date, Chris made a homemade card of Blake, at that point called Black Sonichu. The idea of Blake seems to have welled up as a device for Chris to cope with his feelings of anger by externalizing them. Several months before creating his Black Sonichu card, he experimented with a Dark Christian card. I assume this is the prototypical Nate Cirque. I assume. A Dark Christian card to express his jealousy of Harry Potter. Yeah, Chris hated Harry Potter because Harry Potter was getting super popular at the time. So popular that it rivaled Pokemon. And Chris thinks nothing can rival Pokemon, except for maybe Sonic. And an Evil Energy card. As early as 2000, he had devised a, quote, Dark Sonichu card for whenever Sonichu is full of anger. In the coming years, he would make similar attempts to project his own feelings of discomfort onto cartoon doppelgangers with Nate Cirque and Crystal. So yeah, I do think that Dark Christian was the prototype for Nate Cirque. That's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. In early to mid 2003, with the beginning of his love quest, Black Sonichu increasingly came to represent his jealousy of the jerks and his self-identification as a virgin with rage. The Sonichu canon was a clear case of wish fulfillment, and Blake stood for everything which interfered with those wishes. On discovering that Sarah Hammer was going out with Wes Isley, Chris imagined a fantasy world where he, Sonichu, was the beloved sweetheart of Sarah, Rosechu, and the villainous Black Sonichu was the jealous Wes who stalked the lovers. This same theme was played out in the very first classic Sonichu strip, completed on 3rd of January 2004. The truth is that while it's common to speak of Sonichu as Chris's Mary Sue, it would be more accurate to say that Chris's emotional state in these years was actually embodied in Blake. Only later would Blake evolve into a blatant rip-off of Shadow the Hedgehog, starting out as Sonichu's nemesis but later becoming an ally. Alright. Says only later would Blake evolve into a blatant rip-off of Shadow. If he had this design in the early stages, and you don't consider that a rip-off, there's something wrong. In the comics, Sonichu #1, he first appeared in issue 1, episode 4. And this is, depending on what you mean by first appeared, because he actually appears in issue 0, he doesn't have any lines. But he is introduced along as a character, and he is also in a classic Sonichu strip where he's just hiding behind a rock for reasons. It's Chris. Dr. Robotnik was attempting to clone Sonichu, and the cloning process was corrupted by, quote, an accidental dose of cherry cola spilled by Bill, the scientist. Come on, Bill, you gotta do better than this. The soda in his DNA changed his fur color to black and red. This makes him an obvious ripoff of Shadow the Hedgehog. Shortly after being created, he was ordered to kidnap Rosechu. Sonic and Sonichu thwarted this plan, much to his chagrin. As punishment for kidnapping her, Rosechu punched him in the face and knocked some of his teeth out, showing what a pussy he really is. When hedgehogs meet, Blake is ordered to steal the legendary Master Sunstone by Giovanni because Blake is his bitch. Easily overpowering Flame the Sunbird, he jumps on his hoverboard and escapes with Flame in pursuit. During the chase, he somehow manages to pass by and piss off almost every single member of the soon-to-be formed chaotic combo. Sonichu himself jumps into the mix, and every last one of them gangs up on Blake and beats the living crap out of him. Fair fighting, you know? Sonichu #5. In issue 5, Blake actually refers to Nate Cirque as his father, while mistaking him for Quick. Redneck Natsu Nate Cirque wears a Blake medallion that allows him to transform into an evil electric hedgehog Pokemon. I don't know why every transformation has to have a medallion, but that's just another Chris thing. I don't get it. Sonichu #6. Blake is dismayed to see that Naysirk has become Relnak Hot. I don't know how to pronounce that. After robbing stores with him, Blake complains to Sonichu and Magichan about how he was really mean to him, insulting him all the time and putting whipped cream in his rocket boots. What? That's low. You don't do that to another guy. Blake then allows the reader to see that he has the hots for Bubbles in spite of her helping the chaotic combo beat 7 shades of crap out of him. And before we go any further, here is Blake's stats, in case you give a damn, according to the Quickie. He's got really high attack, medium special defense, medium hit points, super speed, super high attack, super low defense. If I remember correctly, him and Sonichu are the only ones that have this kind of page. And Sonichu's is exactly the same, except Sonichu has 2 attack and 2 defense, and Blake has 3 attack and 1 defense. So it's not really a big deal. Then we come over here to episode 18, prologue. On March 21st, Bubbles celebrates Blake's birthday along with him. They share a kiss after explaining how Blake has the maturity of a 20-year-old, despite being cloned only 4 years ago. Spring break. Blake approaches Rosechu, Angelica, and Bubbles whilst they sunbathe on the beach and kicks sand in their faces, dick move, to make him look badass. Bubbles steps up to, quote, deal with this jerk. She restrains him and leads him away with the others to be alone with him. Leaves him away with, what? Quickie, fix your crap. To be alone with him. The other 2 Rosechus think it's cute that they pretend to not be a couple. Bubbles and Blake agree to have sex under a pier after she finds that Sonichu ball. Fortunately for Blake, Sylvana takes the form Bubble so she can rape him just for laughs. Bubble finds the Sonichu ball, but not in time to save Blake. Quick defense. Quickville is attacked by PVCC, that is the private villa of corrupted citizens, and fighting ensues all over the city. On the waterfront, Blake and Bubbles defeat an entire fleet of SAVs. What is an SAV? Let me read up on my lore. Decepticon. Okay. So it's fake Decepticons. Got it. And proceed to kiss afterwards. Later on, at the end of the episode, they're seen outside the Quickville shopping center, along with the rest of Chris's electric hedgehog Pokemon and their respective partners. Blake and Bubbles are holding hands, suggesting that they're no longer hiding their relationship from the rest of the public. How good for them that they can come out openly and celebrate. Alright, Kristen Chandler and Director Amenities. As this was the episode in which Chris's narcissism reached its pinnacle, it was more than fitting for it to also be the story in which Blake completed his transformation into just another one of Chris's pawns. Despite becoming a fully fledged good guy, Blake's propensity towards evil in this episode is greater than ever. After returning from the Time Void, Chris orders Blake and Punchy to go outside the 4-cent garbage building where he and Sonichu will meet them later. Once all the members of Christian and the Hedgehog Boys, my favorite band, get together, they proceed to destroy the 4-cent garbage building by playing the song Revive Zordon in its proximity, which Revive Zordon is, really speaks from the heart. All it is talking about how old Power Rangers is better than new Power Rangers, and it just spits facts, let me tell you. Hundreds endure death and injury as the building collapses, making Blake and the rest of his bandmates mass murderers. Later on, the episode's plot is briefly interrupted for Chris to make a non-apology apology to the LGBT community and other readers he had offended. Blake is standing next to him along with Bubbles, Sonichu, and Rosechu, suggesting that his status with Chris's entourage has risen considerably. Blake's next appearance is in the mayor's office, where he joins the rest of Chris's goons in ranting against the Asperpedia 4. He is last seen in the episode, and in Sonichu altogether, as he is standing next to Bubbles while she presses one of the 10 buttons needed to activate the electric chair, to which Alec is strapped. Blake stares at Alec with indignant rage, despite having a rap sheet far worse than that of the doomed comic creator. Future episodes. In a blog post from January 2010, Chris writes about a planned episode of Sonichu which will focus on Blake. Blog post from January 2010, future episode. It's the year of our Lord 2021. 11 years ago. I don't think it's happening. I hate to be a doubting Thomas, but I don't think this is happening. And then we go over to the Wikipedia biography. Start off with a quote. The only difference are their color, shoes, and this one is more evil. Chris informing us that Sonichu is also evil to some degree. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. And Sonichu and Blake have less in common than Sonichu and any other Sonichu. Yeah, most of the differences in all the Sonichus is just their colors. So, according to the Wikipedia's entry on Blake, he was created on the 22nd of March, 1999, following the battle between Sonichu and Nate Giovanni. On the 12th of August, 1998, it's cited that it took a while to rebuild the cloning machine. But, okay. Yeah, most likely referring to Mewtwo's escape in Pokemon, the first movie. Through the help of Bill the scientist who screwed everything up, cherry soda is spilled into the DNA, which causes the Sonichu to turn black. 4 months later, Black is primed to battle Sonichu. Though his first battle goes sour, even with the arrival of Metal Sonichu, Blake would continue to do evil, stealing the Master Sunstone and the like. It said that he enjoyed the rush of villainy, but at the same time, started regretting it. And then we'll just go ahead and go over here. Yes, Blake? Begging your pardon, miss, but nice rack. Thanks, Blake, but don't get any ideas. This is what Chris thinks people talk like. Very cool, Chris. I hate this. Everything would change when Black Sonichu prepared to capture Sonichu and Rosechu during their wedding. There, he would see Bubbles Rosechu for the first time. He was so enamored over her that he didn't fire the neck gun he was intending to use to capture the two with when he wanted to, and when he did, he missed completely. That's a long sentence. He would learn her name through one of the programs for the wedding. How would he know which one she was? Okay. The two wouldn't meet again until Nate's transformation into Relnak. When they did meet, Bubbles ended up chewing out Black for a good 15 minutes. Not accustomed to criticism, Black did an emotional 180 and just broke down and cried like the baby he was, begging for forgiveness. Bubbles accepted and began forming a bond with him. What a cuck, dude. Over ice cream. Black introduced himself as Black Sonichu, but Bubbles hated a name like that, which it's a bad name. So she named him Blake, after a star's name. Oh, okay. It's kind of weird. When coming into contact with the 7 Sonichu balls, or with the 7 Chaos Emeralds upon which the balls are based, Blake can temporarily transform into Silver Blachu. Silver's powers are very similar to those of Ultrasonic. Ultra Sonichu. Sonichu's own temporary transformation, which is induced by the 7 Sonichu balls. Silver is identical to Blake in physical appearance, with the exception of having gray fur rather than black. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Practically none of this shows up in the comic itself, not even through Chris's lazy text walls he uses to explain the minor details, such as the tragic death of his true, God-foreseen love he doesn't want to bother drawing. In Mailbag 31, Chris refers to Blake as a, quote, deep individual. He hasn't given us any explanation on what makes him deep, either in the comic or in his Wikipedia article. Like all other Sonichus, he is flat, boring, and only interested in screwing. He is the only slightly interesting Sonichu because his villainous roots, which is completely ignored once he turns to the quote-unquote good side. Name: originally Blake was just referred to as Black Sonichu or Blatchu if you were lucky, but Chris decided to change the name so as to look like less of a bigoted racist jerk. Why he is suddenly called Blake is never revealed. Chris assumed that everyone would understand why his name is now Blake, so everyone just goes with it. Chris, in the Wikipedia article on Sonichu, finally provided the reason why Black Sonichu became Blake, because Blake felt like it. Very good reason. This was later retconned into saying that Bubbles gave him his name. Also a very good reason. Some argue that Chris was indeed ripping off Jimmy Hill's incarnation of Black Sonichu, who was named Blake for some time before Chris started using Blake. Oh yeah, the imposter Ian Brandon Anderson would never steal anything from another creator. I don't believe this. Wow. Despite going to great lengths to use the retcon names in the official video books, such as Nicole Rammer, very nice name. For Sarah Hammer, Chris still uses Blake's original name in most of Sonichu number 0, which I had talked about before, and Sonichu number 1. Love Quest in episode 18, it is revealed that Blake has a secret romance with Bubbles and that they have sex with raincoats. That means condoms. And don't let the rest of Quickville know. To cover up their relationship, they pretend to fight, and he acts like an ass. At the end of the episode, he gets raped by a shape-shifting hermaphrodite named Sylvana. This rape is meant to be a metaphor representing Chris being trolled by men pretending to be women online. Honestly, that's probably the deepest thing that Chris has done, if that's the case. Usually everything Chris does is very surface level. Interestingly enough, in Chris's imagination, Bubbles and Blake were married the 4th of July 2009 at Angelica's church. This indicates that despite Blake's failure to control his own libido, Bubbles forgave him and everyone lived happily ever after. Over here we have some nice fan art that says Black Sonichu is black, y'all. And yes and no. The color is black, but Chris has stated in the comics through Blatchu that Blake is only black by genetic accident. So, yeah, it's explained in the comics. You just have to read and download the lore. Down here we have a couple of nice pictures. Let's see. And we have Sonichu facing off against Blatchu with the Pokeball behind them. Very cool. Thank you, Chris. I assume this is the Animal Crossing card he was talking about. Yeah. And sign Aries. And then not much other information presented over here. We've got Pokemon cards. Black Sonichu, 80 HP. Evil Dash. I don't think that's a real move. Also, only 20? The early Pokemon cards were weak. Damn. Then we have a Yu-Gi-Oh card, which I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh. Doesn't give a lot of information here. Attack 1600, defense 1400. 4 little orbs. I assume that's kind of weak. Then we just have a normal drawing. We've seen what he looks like. And then we have Silver Blatchute. Well, a lot more orbs, a lot more information. Attack 3500. Defense 3000. Very cool. This is very good. I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! If this is like absolute terrible trash tier, I won't know. Black Sonichu has rocket boosters that increase speed. There's no need to look at it. What is this? Who is this gentleman? Look at this marvelous man. Look at this beautiful boy. What a heartbreaker. And what a heartbreaker it is to leave you fine, ladies and gentlemen. But I believe we have come to an end for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Bye.